On the phone with me is the co-founder of the Progressive Change Campaign Committee, which you can find at boldprogressives.org, Adam Green. Adam, welcome to the program.
Hey, big fan of the program. Good to be here, Sam.
Well, thank you, Adam. I'm a big fan of yours. I think you know that. I just want to check that you're totally hydrated. If you need to take a water break at any time, feel free. Just continue to look into the phone.
Sounds great.
Adam,
you should be a comedian.
Well, yeah, I've been told that. I've also been told I shouldn't be, so that balances it out. All right, let's start now. And I want to get to, after we talk, let's first start with the State of the Union, and then I want to also talk about a campaign that you guys are involved in. Well, you're involved in a bunch of them, but one dealing with Mitch McConnell. But let's also just start with the campaign that you guys are involved in basically making sure that any deal that is cut relative to avoiding the sequester, or any deal, I guess at that point, does not involve cuts to benefits to Medicare or Social Security. It was announced by the president's spokesperson the other day that the cuts to Medicare in the form of raising eligibility age were off the table. To our understanding, cuts to Social Security via the so-called change CPI is still on the table. I want to play a clip of the president last night that where he deviated from his prepared text, and I want you to just we'll just talk about that. This is President Obama talking about the idea that we wouldn't raise any revenues, but we would cut Medicare or Social Security. Let's play this.
To hit the rest of our deficit reduction target, we should do what leaders in both parties have already suggested and save hundreds of billions of dollars by getting rid of tax loopholes and deductions for the well-off and the well-connected. After all, why would we choose to make deeper cuts to education and Medicare just to protect special interest tax breaks? How is that fair? Why is it that deficit reduction is a big emergency, justifying making cuts in Social Security benefits but not closing some loopholes? How does that promote growth?
So, Adam, there was a line that was different from the prepared text in there that was added. Why is deficit reduction a big emergency, justifying cuts in Social Security benefits but not closing some loopholes? Give me your analysis as to what that may or may not signal.
Yeah, that line can be read a couple ways. And I guess some context is that this president is very, very good at choosing his words, right? So he'll get up in front of a crowd and say, we must not slash Social Security benefits, and everybody will applaud. But slashing is different from cutting or trimming or tweaking, right?
Right.
Most people would not interpret that as opening up a line of threat against Social Security, but those who are actually following it carefully would see that. This line last night, why is it that deficit reduction is a big emergency, justifying cuts in Social Security benefits, not closing some loopholes? That sounds like he's saying we should close loopholes. We shouldn't cut Social Security benefits. But the way it's actually constructed is, why is it that deficit reduction is a big emergency, justifying cuts in Social Security benefits? He's almost saying that as truth, but not closing some loopholes. It essentially could be read as lining up, one of his, balanced approach ideas, which is if we're going to cut Social Security benefits, we must also close loopholes. And that's in the context of this truth that I'm saying, which is this is an emergency justifying these cuts.
Right.
So it's a little bit scary. It's really scary because for activists like myself, it kind of demobilizes the troops, right? Most people read that and say, oh, he's great. But there's really a threat out there, and that's what we're worried about.
And this is the point. And I know that some people will say we're being a little bit nitpicky here, and there was a lot to be commended in that speech overall, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But this is something that is this is something that you folks have been following for quite a while, and I've been following for quite a while. We know that since January of 2009. The president has expressed some desire for a grand bargain. Now, the optimist in me looks at this and says, we know what an anathema to raising revenues is to the Republicans. And so in some ways, what the president could be saying is, I'm going to suggest, I'm going to indicate that the deficit is a crisis, even though the vast majority of economists say, no, in fact, it is not a crisis. In fact, we need to expand it to expand economic growth. But aside from that, it's also perhaps his way of saying, like, well, I'm willing to put our sacred cows on the table if you're willing to put your sacred cows on the table, all the while knowing that he's not going to do this, that they're not going to put those sacred cows on the table.
Yeah, I mean, that's an often made argument, and there's two flaws in that for me, or at least two things I'm very wary of. I mean, one is essentially saying he's going to give away the farm, for argument's sake, put really important stuff like Social Security benefits that my grandma and millions of grandparents across the country depend on the table, giving John Boehner the power to say yes, under the theory that John Boehner will say no and will look extreme, is a really big gamble, right? That's a gamble that I'm not willing to make, and I don't think most people would be willing to make to prove the point that John Boehner is extreme. Point number two is that our sacred cows are better than their sacred cows, right? Our sacred cows are 80% or more popular. Their sacred cows, like tax cuts for the rich and tax cuts for the powerful, are wildly unpopular. So it's not like the left has their sacred cows, the right has their sacred cows. They're equally popular. Let's both put it on the table in the interest of moving the country forward. There's pretty much zero issue on the table right now where the progressive position is not the most popular position by overwhelming numbers. And therefore, why not just rally the public behind what progressives are demanding as opposed to needlessly compromising? That's pretty much our position. And go for it.
No, go ahead.
I mean, the one thing I would say is that there's, and it's something I know you've addressed a million times, the key word is benefits. So if Republicans come to the table in good faith and say, our concern is really spending. It's not, we're not actively trying to cause pain. We're not actively trying to reduce people's dependence on government. We just want to get our fiscal house in order. And our response is, great, let's save $130 billion by letting Medicare and Medicaid negotiate prices with the drug companies. And if we want to achieve savings in those entitlement programs by getting rid of basically the corporations ripping off taxpayers, then great. We can all agree to that, right? So the word entitlements is the wrong word. It's the word benefits. But what it seems like is that Republicans actively want to cause pain for people and make them have less faith in the government. And that's what we have to stand against.
And I will extend your second point, not just about it being a risky thing to put on the table, but look, the president had a very, on balance, a very progressive agenda that he laid out in this speech. And very little of it is going to be able to pass as the government is currently constructed. We know that the Republicans are going to obstruct virtually all of these policies. That is what they do. So at the end of the day, the aspects of this speech that I liked were that he was basically setting the compass in the proper direction. He was presenting a progressive and liberal vision in many different areas of our life. And I applaud that. But the idea that he would float the idea of cutting Social Security benefits is pushing the compass in the wrong direction. So to the extent that we can appreciate all the other things that we're going to go through in this speech, we have to necessarily take issue with the compass going in the wrong direction in terms of Social Security benefits. I mean, that to me seems, self-evident. You can't enjoy the speech for its rhetorical power and for its being a bully, the use of the bully pulpit, without seeing the use of the bully pulpit functioning to undercut the legitimacy of Social Security.